Hey, good evening, good night, good morning, and good afternoon. Since Maximus here, another episode of the Social Experiment. I am doing this solo today. Unfortunately, my co-host has something going on, so it's kind of keeping her from being able to do what she got to do right now. But she'll be all right. She'll be back in the saddle soon enough. In the meantime, I'm gonna rock this out. The show must go on, as they say. So here we are. Here we are. Greetings, Facebook user. I really hate that it does that. I'll have it all together in a second. It's definitely some things that need to be discussed today because today, a lot of things going on, a lot of bullshit that's being dealt with, and to be completely honest with you, I think we're in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, America is not great. America is actually in quite a terrible position. Let me tell you something. A lot of fellow New Yorkers might not know this, but we recently, because even I, in all my running around, lost track of this. There was recently a primary for the position of governor. Now, keep in mind, these are the things that we discuss in society. These are the things that are the reasons why we are still behind in society today. The first problem is that we have these Democrats that even when they are in power, they have no teeth. They're like a bunch of babies just gumming at it. All they doing is they flapping their mouth. They not making no damage. Just like when a baby trying to gum on a cookie, they just and they ain't getting nothing done. They gotta soggy up the whole situation just to make that cookie crumble. It's ridiculous. And that's basically what the Democrats remind me of in general. You know, I know I should have probably put up some little trappy title so this way I could get the nosy people to pull up and pull in because this is a very real issue. You know, in America, it seems like we are slowly but surely losing a lot of the rights that we have gained. Every time I turn around, they're turning something over. And I mean, they're doing this with the Democratic president in power. But the problem is that he's so straight in the middle. And so many votes in Congress were failed to be acquired for the Democratic side that the Republicans are still pretty much doing whatever the hell it is they want to do. So, that being said, it is not looking good for your home team. Now, what I will say is, the fact that Roe v. Wade got overturned, it's just sad to me. It really is because I don't see what the problem is in allowing people to have a choice. I mean, we can go into the conspiracy theories, the population control, certain populations feeling like they're going under and they're trying to, maintain their majority and blah, blah, blah. Thing is, none of that is relevant. Reason why it's not relevant is because at the end of the day, regardless of what the reason may be, the fact that matters is that it's still happening. And that in itself is problematic. It's frustrating. And I, for one, as an American citizen, have a serious problem with it. I don't like what's going on here. And it looks like that things are going to pretty much fall flat as far as we don't even live in a democracy anymore. We're more or less a republic or working on a democracy. Really, we're working on being a monarchy. What's up, Nikita? Hey, Sharon. Now, here's the thing, is that at the end of the day, it's not like things have been sweet for us, especially people of certain skin color. It ain't been that sweet for us in America since the beginning. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of shit is starting to transcend even cultural boundaries. It's starting to become more about economics. If you aren't in a certain economic bracket, America is not going to be for you. You're just going to be, they need you. They need all of us working class people. They need us to be cogs in the wheel so that the fat cats can sit on top and live lavishly. This economy only works if we keep on moving. But the problem is we don't know how to seize the power. All we do is trade our time for money and fight to keep the lights on and, you know, to survive and to enjoy our little piece of the rock, all of that shit. Now, at the end of the day, if this is going to change, it's going to require a total shift in mentality, a total shift in the understanding of financial freedom. And honestly, and I know this ain't necessarily on topic, but it all is because this is America and all of this stuff affects us. But honestly, the whole structure of the school system needs to be revamped. In New York City, a place that has struggled with its public school system, can you believe? Hey, what's up, Amoy? Can you believe that in this city, as much money as we funnel into the police programs and all of that stuff? I remember back in the days of defund the police and all of that. Now, granted, defund was probably a bad word to say because it sounds like you're saying, oh, take the money away from the police. No, we're talking about reallocating funds to other things. Our police department is more well armed than many countries' armies are. And we are not at war here. Well, we are at war here, but not in the way that you may think. We have a war going on of survival, of maintaining economic freedom. That is the war that we are struggling against, and we're losing. You don't even have the right. How dare somebody, like, if you think about, and the thing is that pisses me off, there's not enough outrage about this RV Wade thing. Like, I should see about 500 different posts about it, like how everybody was talking about the vaccine. When the vaccine was a thing, everybody was on there and they was bitching and, oh, I'm not taking this vaccine. How you gonna tell me what to put in my body, blah, 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 blah. But meanwhile, everybody sits down and lays down as the Supreme Court decides to overturn RV Wade, and ain't hardly no post about it. They busy talking about some Negro with McDonald's for his kid. Like, who gives a shit about that? I wouldn't even discuss that topic. That topic is beneath me. Because there's bigger things going on than that. And yes, Sharon, exactly. They said, I'm going to put this up here. They said they are aggressively taking away rights. They are sending us back to dangerous times when women were forced to seek out illegal abortions. This is not progress. Major fact. This is not progress at all. And yes, if you're watching the video, wherever you're watching it from, like it, share it away, all that good stuff. Even though they need to be in a group, or they can come to the YouTube page. The YouTube page is wide open. Tell them to come on down. I could hook them up right here. I'm going to put this shit up on the group for the chat, so this way everybody knows what's going on, because at the end of the day. And yes, if you're watching the video, wherever you're watching it from, Jesus. Like it, share it away, all that. Shut up. See, that's my bad. I forgot to silence myself. But anyway, yeah, if you find yourself being outraged when it came to dealing with the vaccine, but you don't find outrage over the fact that now, keep in mind, this is an economy where, oh yeah, that Brown versus Board of Education, yep, that's definitely coming down the pipeline. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's definitely coming down the pipeline. We're gonna have segregated schools. It's gonna be amazing out here in these streets in a minute. But hold on. Keep in mind, with this economy, you should have the right to decide if you're ready to bring a child into the world and not want to have a struggle baby. Sometimes accidents happen. Human beings have sex. Sometimes there's a slip up, even with contraceptive. What if a woman unfortunately is raped or something like that? Now she's forced to keep a rape baby? Or go, like Sharon said, risk an illegal abortion somewhere? Because let me tell you something. The people with money and power are still going to be able to handle those things on the low. Should somebody in their family, like let's say they're a young girl of some politician or some businessman, ends up with their daughter being pregnant or whatever, I guarantee you they will have a way out of it. Just like how there's mad drugs that are legit cures or really good remedies for ailments that are currently out. But because the FDA never approves them to keep them for the elite, we never get access to those. Those never get mass produced. Like I said, there are things in position. They want to keep you broken and weak and divided. That is what the mission of this country is to do. It might say United States, but it should really be called divided states, because nothing is more divided. Hell, half these states have 15 different laws that the other states don't even have, or you never even heard of. If you really did your research and looked on the books, you cross state lines and find out that something that you normally would do, like wiping your ass with your right hand, may be illegal in the state you're in right now. This shit is dangerous. This is not something for joke. I know everybody wants to sit there and chuckle around talking about, oh, how, the McDonald's guy and all this stuff, but the hell with that. We have people taking away the rights of our women to choose what it is that they can do with their bodies. This is even more offensive than that damn vaccine thing was. Asking me, can I see your vax card? The fuck you need to know whatever happened to the HIPAA Act. Remember that? And how that got violated? That was what that vaccine thing was all about. Because really, anything you inject yourself with it or nothing, the only time it's relevant is like, I know there's certain countries in Africa you got to take like the malaria shot for. It's there to protect you from such and such and such and such. But they're not forcing it on you. They're just telling you, listen, if you come here, this particular place, that's the rule. And that's that, because it's a highly contagious situation there. This COVID thing had a weak-ass death rate. Yes, unfortunately, some people died from it, but guess what? People die from shit all the time. They didn't have to force this on people. It should have been your choice whether to take it or not. People almost lost their jobs off of that shit. And now we're talking about this RV Wade thing. Like, it's crazy. And be ready for those that want to marry their same-sex partner. They probably going to reverse that shit too, especially when the Republicans get back in power, because the are doing such a bang-up job. The Democrats are doing such a bang-up job that the Republicans are going to get all the votes. The Democrats are not motivated to come out. Like I said, in New York, we just had a governor's primary. We had a black man who has a lot of great ideas that's running. And you heard nothing about it unless you happen to listen to maybe one of the hip hop stations on the radio. That's the only reason why I even knew. I ain't see no advertisements. I ain't see nothing. The DNC barely promoted it. Like I said, the fix is in. The fix is in. You better be ready because the fix is in, people. They are not here to play with y'all. They are here to take us out, to control us, to herd us like cattle. That is what's going on here. I'm so busy talking about this, I forgot to put this up. But yes, that's the YouTube. You can share, you can copy and paste that link all over the place and let people pop on the YouTube and check it out. Because this is the kind of stuff. Hey, Sabrina. Get well soon, all right? And Sharon came up with another one. She was like, it's amazing to me that some of the very people who are pro-choice also support the death penalty. So a fetus that's not even independently viable is more precious than a fully developed life, yet you stand on a platform that all life is precious. That's true. They danced around on multiple different sides of this equation. On one hand, they're saying one thing, on the other hand, it's about convenience. It's all about convenience. What's convenient for their agendas. That's what all of this is about. You have to understand what's going on here. You have to see the writing on the wall. It's time to take your heads out of the jokey stuff and pay attention, because your complete freedoms are being taken from you right in front of your faces. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a lay down and take it kind of person. You understand, we fund them. They ain't funding us. You know how hard it is to get some fucking help when if you run into an unfortunate series of events where you get in hard times. Can you imagine how horrible that is? You can't even, you've been paying your taxes all your life, and then you can't even get no funding. You got to jump through 15 different hoops just to get basic funding. I know people that work for these different organizations inside the government, and I will tell you, whenever you need social service help, you can get it, but you're going to jump through a whole bunch of fucking hoops to get that shit, and they take their time. When you do unemployment, it takes them 6 weeks to process that shit. What the fuck you supposed to do sitting on 6 weeks with no help? And this is the shit that I'm talking about. This kind of stuff cannot be allowed to continue, because we're on an age where you can literally work for something and get a cash out that same day. But you mean to tell me they still got to churn the butter and take 6 whole weeks just to get a basic payment thing set up? It don't take that long. I went to school for computer science, and I went back in 98, 2000. Let me tell you something. Even back then, they could have moved faster than that. And we are 20 plus years removed from those times. The technology is there. They could do better if they wanted to, but they don't care, so they're not. And because the people are so busy sleeping and looking at stupid shit like the thing I mentioned before, as long as they keep sleeping and being distracted, nobody's paying attention to the real issues at hand. There should be, instead of seeing 35, 40 posts about P-Valley, I should be seeing 35, 40, 750. I got almost 5,000 friends on my page. 93% of them are women, and I barely see any posts up talking about that shit. But everybody's talking about P-Valley or some guy with some McDonald's, or how this one can't afford this and somebody such and such that. Hey, stupid, none of y'all are going to be able to afford anything in a minute. You saw what they did with the gas prices? Do you think that's coming back down to where it was? Because I got a surprise for you. It may drop down for a minute, but as soon as they need to double them profits again, they're going to jack that shit right up and have some alleged oil spill as the excuse, because they can't keep using the same trick. There won't be a COVID to blame it on, or some kind of whatever shortage, or a war because, oh, we get it from Russia and whatever else. Yo, we still got oil deposits in Texas we haven't even tapped yet. So please. We have so much open land we haven't tapped yet in these United States alone. There is no excuse whatsoever for what's going on here. But, like I said, we the people, I don't know about you, I assume almost everybody watching this is American citizens, but especially if you're an American citizen, I have ancestry from that bled and died building this country right here. This one. This is my country. Not go back to Africa. That's my ancestry, but this is my home. This is my country. So my fight is here. I have relatives that lived, were born, and died here, working, paying taxes, busting their ass for this country. I have family that fought in the military here for this country. Let me tell you something. The shit that is going on will no longer be tolerated by me. And those that have the mentality that I have need to stand up tall on that position, because this is not a thing that we can any longer allow to continue and say that it's okay. This is not okay. Oh, they lost money during the COVID pandemic, so now for the next 7 months to a year, what are they going to do? They're going to take that big oil dick and they're going to jam it up your ass. And then you're going to say, oh, I'll go run and go get an electric car. Okay, that'll work for a little while, but then guess what's going to happen? They're going to all go run, and then they're going to jack up the cost of electricity. And they're going to have a foothold on that, because the same people that have a foothold on the oil sources are the same people that have a foothold on the electricity. So understand, you may skirt the beast a little bit, but at the end of the day, you will not escape it in the long run. You have to be ready and willing to actually go out there and make a difference. Yes, I know, here goes Max saying vote again. Yes, but voting's not enough. You have to shift your awareness. You have to show them that you're paying attention, and if you don't do what you're supposed to do, we're going to hold you accountable. It's a damn shame that one of the biggest, most powerful things that ever actually rattled the government in recent memory was a bunch of ignorant people storming the Capitol for a cause that didn't make any damn sense. If anybody should be not even necessarily storming the Capitol, but walking up to the Capitol and making a major demonstration, it should be every American citizen, whether you're black, white, blue, purple, or yellow. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're a working class person where you have to trade your time for your money, you're getting fucked. You're paying all this money in taxes. Remember, every single thing that you buy, you're paying taxes on. Even if you say, oh, I don't pay taxes on this because I know how to write this off. Yeah, I do too. But every time I buy a bottle of water, like this one, that I drink every day, taxes. Every time you buy clothes, taxes. Every time you pay a toll, that goes all the way to the government, and then they tax that too. You just don't know because they give you the final tax price. The gas you put in your car is already taxed before you get it. It's the taxes that make it the price that it fucking is. So The thing you have to understand is if you want to change the situation, these conversations have to become commonplace. There should be 200 people in here right now, all agreeing and talking and engaging on this topic, because this is not something for joke. Yes, I like to scroll and look at funny stuff too. Me and my girl share funny things all the time. I look at something that's funny, she look at something that's funny. But the thing is, at the end of the day, that's not enough. You have to pick your head out of that and realize, I know nobody wants to do the work. Oh my God, I got to read a book. Yes, they're counting on you to be brain dead, to have an attention span that only lasts 30 seconds, which is why the numbers jump all over the place with this thing, because their attention spans hop all over the place. That's why nothing changes in your favor. Things are changing. It just ain't changing in your favor. And if you're a person of color like me, Make America Great Again is definitely not going to be in your benefit. Just want you to know that. I want you to know that if somebody like Trump is allowed to come back into office after and there's evidence that he legit authorized and encouraged this coup, this storming of the Capitol where Congress people were being attacked. These people were carrying weapons to approach our Capitol. And this man is not in jail because of the money and power he wields. He will never see a day in prison. But at the very least, they can maybe keep him from running. But that probably won't happen because most of us people are much like the Democrats we complain about that never have no teeth, don't never do shit. They just lay down and take it, always trying to be nice. Ain't no time to be nice. Stop trying to take the higher path, because none of that shit is getting you anywhere. All y'all are doing is sowing your fate. You are showing that you don't care about your children's future. When you look in your pocket and realize you can't afford private school, and because the federal government ain't going to give a fuck about you, they're not going to send any funding to back up your failing school system, because that's the only reason that the public school system in my particular city of New York made it through COVID, because they was about to have major budget cuts. The only thing that held them up is the federal government sent in monies to keep the school systems from crashing, to keep the school system from having to do budget cuts. We already got teachers that sit up there and have to spend it out of their own pocket constantly because of what they have to work with. They have old books, bullshit stuff. The only way you're going to get something good is if you happen to be in the right neighborhood, in the right school district. And guess what? All of you can't afford to live there. So, point of matter being, even if you look at it and say, well, it's not really my problem, I'm all right over here, it'll affect you eventually. Just sit tight. Because I'm almost certain ain't hardly nobody that's been on here in that 2%. If you ain't in that 2% of earners, guess what? There's a good chance that you have a screw job waiting on you. You know, there's a saying, there's many people that are only one bad day away from going over the edge. A lot of crime. Let me tell you something. They know that this inflated economy, coupled with all the other bad things that are happening to cost people more money, to have to do more with less, all the stresses of all of that, and so on and so forth. Guess what? All of that is going to create more crime. That's why crime is up. It's not because, the prisoner, because of reforms and such and such and such. Nah, The reforms were good because there were people that really didn't need to be locked up that were locked up still. They just use that as the smokescreen because there's a small percentage that do slip through the cracks thanks to those bail reforms and so on and so. But for the majority of those that benefited from that bail reform, that was a positive outcome. They got out and wanted to do something with themselves, got themselves a skill, went back to school, got a degree, maybe even has started their education inside and finished it outside, and are trying to be, you know, productive members of society. You know what forces people to get back into a life of crime? What happens when you corner an animal and make them hungry? You corner a starving animal, they're going to attack. What they're doing is they starve the economy. They starve people of certain communities because they want to see them struggle, because they want to put you back into that prison machine so that you could keep funding all their private projects that they use prisoners to do. My thing is don't fall for the jokes, people. Don't fall for it. This is something that needs to be handled with very serious thinking. This is something that you have to go to sleep thinking about, wake up, think about, try to find your local people in your community and start looking to find solutions to put pressure on these politicians, starting with your councilmen all the way up to your senators and congressmen and governors. That's how you start affecting change. Because when they know that the accountability is in, let me tell you something, all them corporations in the world are cool, but they only count for 1 vote per. The heads of those corporations is 1 vote per. Yeah, they put in money, but if nobody's voting for them, those organizations, those corporations will change their tune, because they'll be like, shit, the only way we're going to get anything is if we back somebody who's with the agenda that we the people want. So we got to go with we the people. Just like when everybody was marching for the George Floyd thing, companies started bowing and kowtowing, talking about Black Lives Matter all over the place. Why? Because we showed, and it wasn't just black people doing it. It was people of all colors, because nobody deserves to be unlawfully restrained and murdered by the civil servants that are supposed to serve them. If they do a crime, you take them in, let them see a judge, and they get handled accordingly. Not choking an unarmed man to death for no goddamn reason other than the fact that you just don't like him because of the color of his skin. Because ain't nobody stupid. We all know what the hell that was about. It ain't the first time that's happened. For those that watch that show, The Boys, there's actually a scene that discussed something like that. Except in this case, it was a white superhero, and he was over-policing a black community. When he flipped out because they all was coming at him and not coming at him to attack him, keep in mind, he's super. He's got nigh unbreakable skin and super strength, along with other things. And it was nothing but a bunch of unarmed black folk just screaming at him because they was upset about the way he's been abusing them in their community. And he started attacking them and literally paralyzed one person, did something else to another. This is the same shit that happens in this society. Meanwhile, we could take a mass murderer that was shooting folks from a pond high with a sniper rifle, take him to get some food before we take him to jail. Like I said, and I tell people all the time, this is more like America than it is America, land of the free. Because that land of the free part is bullshit. And I agree, the prison system does give legalized slave labor. That's why there are a lot of private businesses that own these prisons. What does a private business do in owning a prison? Think about that. A prison is supposed to be a government facility to house those that have violated certain laws. And they're supposed to spend X amount of time there being rehabilitated to come out and then become productive members of society. That's the story that they sell you. But let me tell you something. That slogan ain't been true since the beginning of this country. All it is a cage to throw animals in and fuck them. Maybe you get thrown in for a minute. Maybe you get thrown in for a lifetime. End of the day, they don't give a shit about you. They are not trying to do anything to better your situation. You have to benefit your situation. And not enough of you work to do that. Like I said, even because I was so busy doing overtime and taking care, because I'm working on a couple of projects and so on, so I forgot about the primary. I'm not infallible. I make mistakes too. But the fact of the matter is, let me tell you something. Because I'm a registered voter, when the DNC wants donations, they make sure to send those text messages to my phone multiple times. Why wasn't there one text? Being I'm a registered voter in New York, saying, hey, the New York primary is coming up. Make sure you go out and vote. They ain't do that. Because at the end of the day, Democrat, Republican, none of that shit matters. It's about economic class. Because all them motherfuckers sit at the same restaurants and eat. A lot of them are cool with each other. Everybody's not one versus the other out there. There are those that sit on extreme opposite sides of the table, but it ain't all of them. That's something that needs to change. Because not enough people understand what's going on right now. You have to understand this shit is not a joke. And you know where it starts? Just to segue this, it starts in our local community, in our home. It starts with picking and choosing the right people to be around you. It starts with knowing how to work together. You know how many people say that they want relationships but don't even know how to operate as a team? I tell people this all the time. Dating and relationships are all precursors to marriage. All being in a relationship is the warm up to see if you can make it to the married round. And if it doesn't, which most of the time it don't, oops, start all over again. It's all about unity and togetherness. Folks have to learn to work together. Folks have to learn to have conversations. Take this phone sometimes, put this phone to the side, and actually talk. Or even a crazier thing, not just be texters, but actually do have, if it's up to it, phone conversations too. But you have to work together. You have to hold each other accountable. You have to really be on top of each other to make sure that y'all both work together to push things like this. Because for every single person that does that, it makes a world of a difference. Like, you don't understand how much of a world of a difference it makes when you come and you say, oh, I got this person to come out and vote today. Oh, we're starting this little thing. Our little circle of friends are all gonna set up some demonstrations and and we're gonna start a conversation, so and so and so. We're gonna all be posting and sharing, being that this is the social media age, hence what we're on right now. We're gonna be liking and sharing and sharing and sharing content like this. And yes, I do want people to like, share, and subscribe. But my whole thing is, is even bigger than that. Even if it ain't me, these are the things that I want to see dominating my timeline. Because this conversation isn't a joke. I really wanted to talk about the whole relationship thing, but I keep it a stack with you. Our relationships, I feel like if we don't even care about the ground under our feet, we ain't going to care about a partner. How are you going to seriously say that you could have a partner, that you could look out for somebody else as much or even more so than you look out for your own self? But honestly, that's not saying a lot if you don't, because clearly a lot of y'all don't care about yourself. And that's just an observation from what I see. I have enough people to reference on to get a decent idea of what the trend is. If I go on Twitter, Roe v. Wade ain't gonna necessarily be the number one trending item. It might have been for a few minutes when it first happened, but then that went away, just like everything else goes away. You know what doesn't go away? The fact that they took your right away for good. The only way that changes, you got to put the pressure on the president, which he does barely have no legs under him. But they have to now fight to expand the size of the Supreme Court because right now 9 justices ain't enough. They need to expand it to 11 because you understand. I'm gonna show you another thing in this political game that happened in our recent lifetime. We had President Obama, which I'm sure a lot of people remember him, first black president, and all that good stuff. He was 8 months left in office, tried to appoint a justice to the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell, with his goofy ass, blocks it because he had majority leadership in Congress. So he blocked it. Fast forward, Trump, about this close to the election. And guess what? They roll out the red carpet and let him appoint 2 justices. Literally complained because Obama only had 8 months left. Trump had even less time left. It was like this close to the elections, but still let Trump appoint 2 justices. 2. If you don't see how they're setting you up for the jokes, if you can't even see this, there's no way you can see what you really want in a relationship. Because all you're doing is walking and sleeping. You're a bunch of sleepwalkers. And sleepwalkers, unfortunately, are just going to bump their heads into walls over and over again until they get tired of slamming into it, and they'll either wake up or they'll just fall, or they'll fall apart unconscious. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you only bust your head up but so much. I want y'all to keep this in mind. If you ever hope to get out of this situation, it's going to take work. I know a lot of people don't like that 4-letter word. When you say work, oh, relationships are work. They are to a point. They shouldn't be that much work, but they are. But guess what? Anything worth having is going to be work. Not going to just get handed to you because you bat your little eyelashes or you flex a muscle or two. No, you're going to have to put some work in. But the benefits that you reap will well be worth it. Because if you look at the tone of what's going on tonight, what's going on in this country, the fact that we're heading headfirst into another election just now, that time is coming. We're going to be voting a new president in soon enough. Biden's having his time right now, and he can barely stay awake to finish his speech. But honestly, It wasn't even about getting Biden in. It was just about getting Trump the fuck out of there. And remember that there's 170 million people that think that Trump, somebody who literally put a middle finger up to every single thing that this country was built on, and not in a positive way, like fuck the slavery and the racism and all the other stuff. No, he's with that because them white supremacists and all of that. He's taking their money and letting them hang on his side. Keep that in your head. So the thing is we need to wake up. I don't know what you're gonna do when y'all get off of this podcast. I'm pretty sure you'll go and do some scrolling and whatever. But I want you to actually take a moment and think about the fact that your future is in danger. You all are in danger. And I agree, most people are like sheep. They're more followers than leaders. And then to a certain degree, it is what it is. Everybody's not meant to be a leader. Somebody's got to be the Indian while somebody else is the chief, even though I hate that terminology, but it makes sense in this. Everybody can't be the head person, but you could still lead by example and move with some kind of promise. I'm going to need y'all to get it together because there's too many people that are sitting around and they're just living life, they're just existing, then they complain, oh, this politician don't care about us, don't none of the politicians care about us. I mean, think about it. How much do y'all really care about the politician? Now, I'm not saying you need to send them a Christmas card. What I mean when I say that is you don't even pay attention to who's there, when, and why. I wouldn't pay attention to you either if you wasn't paying me no mind. I'm going to look at you and be like, well, fuck you too. I'm out here trying to do something that might benefit people, and you just walk by me like I ain't shit. I'm going to look at you like, well, fuck it. I'm going to fuck with the people who fuck with me. That's human nature. So if you want an improvement, this is going to require putting in the work. Hopefully y'all are ready to do that because I, for one, I'm tired of being taken advantage of. I feel like a lot of you aren't tired. See this? My eyes look sleepy because I'm tired. Because I got to put in more work to account for the 30% I pay extra in gas. And yes, I calculated it. I pay extra 30%. That means I got to work 30% harder as if I wasn't working hard enough already. The culture class of working in this country is miserable. In many countries, they don't have the work situation set up like this. They have it set up like this here, where you work yourself to the bone. You barely get even half of what you're worth most of the time. And then once you drop dead, they push you out the way, throw somebody else in your spot, and keep moving. Sorry, but me personally, I value my life. So I'm not going to sit back and let somebody devalue it by treating it like it ain't worth shit. But it's up to you people to want to make the difference. My question to you is, are you ready to do the work? Because listen, I'm a man of faith just like anybody else, but I also believe we are given the ability to think, to have conscious thought, to act, because we're meant to get up and make it happen, not sit back and pray on it and hope that we'll get divine intervention. At this point, that's the only thing that's going to save us. Unfortunately, at the rate we going, I should say, because nothing short of divine intervention is going to be able to turn this around. Agreed. You definitely need to check out how the politicians vote on the issues that matter to you and where their campaign contributions come from. It only takes a couple of Googles to figure all that out. You don't even got to do the hard work like back in the days. So, what really keeps you from voting? And remember, inaction is still taking action. So, for those that say, well, I don't like nobody, so I ain't voting, that's one vote for the team that you didn't want. Every time you don't vote, that's a vote for the team you didn't want. Because the team that you didn't want isn't gonna have one more vote to worry about because you voted for the other guy. Instead, the team that you absolutely don't want gets a vote in the winner column. Me, I don't believe in this. I talk about the Democrats and Republicans, but I don't really believe in that bipartisan system. I believe it should be more of a tripartisan system. I feel like the independent needs to really take a prevalent role. A lot of Democrats that are far left are independents. They just don't say it because if you're not a D or R, you don't make it too far in Congress or in any part of government, really. Independents have a big glass ceiling over them. Hence why somebody like Bernie Sanders, who everybody seems to feel excited about, but somehow still not enough people are excited about him to get him in. Now he's too old. Definitely going to be too old by the time next election comes around. Now the next person up, hopefully they have decent views and we can go with them. There's a party in the voting system called the Working Class Party. Pay attention to that party because that party, the people that are part of that party, a lot of the stuff and a lot of views that they are beholden to are things that are relevant to the majority of this country. When next time you look at your ballot, look at that extra section. It says it, Working Class Party, because a lot of the politicians, especially on the Democratic side, are part of that Working Class Party. And a lot of independents are too. Because we need a change. And a change first starts from within, of course, and then works from without. Meaning it starts from us and then it goes throughout everything around us. Also, I want to mention this while I have this live up. I'm going to be doing interviews. You'll see I already got somebody that's willing to come up. We just got to get the time and set up on that. I'm going to be doing live interviews with people that are down for a live session, talking about their relationships and things maybe they can find do better. If you have a hard time getting your relationship over a hump, I know sometimes people get to relationships and then they plateau after they hit a certain part and they're trying to figure out how to get over. When I put up that post talking about who's ready for a breakthrough, I am all about breakthroughs. If you're ready for a breakthrough, it's time for you to come this way and get at me. Not keep talking about it, not keep posting about how these guys ain't this and dating field sucks. And I know the dating field sucks. It does. I'm glad I'm not dealing with it. Because if I was, I'd probably be depressed. It sucks out there, whether you're male or female. There's nobody really, the pickings is slim, and a lot of times the people you want ain't where you are. So when you find somebody that lines up right, you better hold on tight and do the right thing by them so you can get as far as you want to get with them. But like I said, sometimes the biggest solution to your relationship is going to be to burn it down. Sometimes the solution will be something else. I have some exercises set up. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the live ones. I'm not going to do but so many exercises because obviously we're on here. Not going to do all that, but definitely going to have the conversation because there are people who are single that just are out of ideas as to how they can rectify the situation and maybe find a partner. It doesn't mean necessarily. Some people don't even want to get married. They just want a life partner. Or they might just want somebody that, they could call their own. Whatever it is that you're looking for. Even if you're a person that operates an alternative lifestyle and you're looking for somebody that can function with you in those parameters. I have a lot of experience with all of that. I will have it on display on here. As long as you're willing to go live on camera, we will talk before you go live. I'm not going to try to embarrass nobody, but I am going to talk real. I'm not here known to sugarcoat shit. So if you're looking for that, I'm not the panda bear you want. There's nothing wrong with taking time for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that at all. If you want to take time for yourself so that you can get things more in check, hey Karen, I didn't even see you there. I don't know, that the comments from this aren't coming on to my thing for some reason, but I seen y'all was there. All right. But if you're looking for a change, if you're looking for things to improve as far as what you want to get out of life in general, because honestly, no house is built without a strong foundation is going to stand. No house built without a strong foundation is going to stand. Period. So your foundation requires more than you. If you look at a table, it has 4 legs because an even number balances out a lot better than if it had just 3. You get 2 people, you can move shit around a lot easier than if it's just you dragging something by yourself. The path to success comes with having a strong support system. You know how many people that's successful, like you see them get up on the stage or whatever, and they get their award, and they're like, I want to thank this person, that person, or the whatever that was there for me and was my support. Like I forget which actor it was. I think maybe even Denzel's wife or whatever. When back in the days he ain't have no money and she was holding down everything while he was getting his shit together. And now look where they at. There's a lot of people with stories like that in life in general themselves. You got to realize we do need each other. Those politicians need us. And we need the right ones of them to do, because they're supposed to speak for us. But again, this all starts from right here. Right now is the place you want to be. You want to get this information and share this with as many people as possible. I don't want to not see this bouncing around. And understand, you're going to have to share it via YouTube because the videos that's up on Facebook, they coming down because Facebook ain't doing nothing for my views. Anything that's on Facebook is coming down. They want to watch the replay, they're going to come to the YouTube page. They can give it a like, give it a little share. That's all we ask. And throw a little sub on there if you'd like, and be much appreciated. Subscriptions help because I plan on getting more things set up for this to make this look more, excuse me, streamlined. But in order for me to do that, the funding has to go up. And I'm not asking y'all to drop no money, but in order to get AdSense and so on and so forth, you got to have a certain amount of subscribers, certain amount of engagements, blah, 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 blah. So the support, I'm asking you to be supportive. I'm not up here doing a shuck and jive routine. I'm sorry. If you was looking for a girl to be up on here twerking her booty, sorry, this ain't that. But the stuff we're doing here, the work we're putting in here is 1,000 times more valuable and a lot more important than any of that. So I'm gonna leave it here for now. Like I said, swinging back to the sessions, live sessions will be open here. We're gonna go live. We're gonna talk about it. Holla at me. Hit me via DM. I'm also gonna leave my communication in the description of this video on YouTube because it ain't staying up on Facebook. So that being said, appreciate all y'all time. It's late, my eyes is sleepy, and I'm gonna go get some rest. Y'all have a good night. Stay blessed and please pay attention. Cause if you don't, they're gonna scam you right out of everything you ever worked for. Anyway, I'll holler. Peace.